Welcome to Computer Works by Ray Hines. Hello, I'm Papa Ray, and today we're going to look at Excel slicers, just what they are and how they can benefit us. Excel slicers are special graphic shortcuts that go on our screen, and they're used with tables and pivot tables. They're convenient little buttons that can be used to select parts of a table at will and perform many built-in functions and formulas that at will to generate pertinent output. Slicers behave in a hierarchy to generate output without building formulas. They're not tied to specific rows or columns in a worksheet and can float around or be moved around or sized as necessary, but they can be preset for easy data manipulation and then change when necessary. They're very convenient. Let's take a look. We're going to open a sample data sheet, and the data set has been made into a data table, and this data table is ready to operate. You can see that the totals have formula in them, and they're E8 by F8 is in row 8 and so forth. E20 times F20 is in row 20, and that gives us the spreadsheet information that we need. And so if I were to change any one of these two numbers, then the third number would change because of its formula. Okay, so we're ready. Let's take a look at a slicer. We can insert a slicer in three different ways. Let's take a look. We insert, and we can go to slicers right there. If we insert a slicer, we can read that. It's use a slicer to filter data visually. Slicers make it easier and faster to filter pivot tables, pivot charts, and other functions. We'll just stay with a table right now in this lesson. So if I click on that, I get a slicer dialog box, and I can say, what do you want? Well, I'd like to go region, and so I'm going to hit OK. And I'll pull the region up here and take a look at it. I'll move this up like that, and there we got what we need. I'm not quite there. If I pull down, the range bar will go away, and that's what I wanted. Put it closer. There we go. I don't have a range bar on the right hand side. I could even pull this tighter if I wanted to. All right, so let's utilize this. I've got all kinds of data here, and I've got central, north, and south. There aren't any different regions besides central, north, and south. But if I click on central, it cuts down all the other data and just looks at central. It's a great filtering device, and you can say, well, I don't like that. I'll clear the filter, or I can say I want that one, and now that I've done that, I want to look at north, or then I can look at just south. Another way to do it is look at 2 out of 3, or all of them really. But so if you went to click on that one and then control click the third one, even though they're not contiguous, it gives you all of them that are in central and south. And so if I click on control north, all 3 of them are there, and I should be back down to my totals, all of my data. Well, that's good, but there's more. Let's insert another slicer, but we're not going to do it that way. We insert a slicer. We can do it from the table design. If our cursor is not in the table, it won't show. But if we put our cursor in there, the table design shows, and we click on that, and there's an insert slicer icon for that. And so we're going to say, let's look at representative now, and just look at our personnel. Well, that's good, but we've got a lot more personnel. So let's put this up here, and let's just pull this down until we get to the bottom of it. Now that's good. We could pull that up here, and we could leave it like that, or we can move this over. And now that we're in the slicer ribbon, we can say I want multiple columns and make this shorter. So I could do that. Let's try 3. Will it fit 3? Yeah, it might. Yeah, there's Toby Flender or somebody. So that's not good unless I made it wider like that. And there's all my people if I wanted to do that. Or I could just go back down to 1 and pull that in like that. And then make sure that I've got everybody. Toby is the last guy. And there we go. Okay, well, what can I do with this? Well, let's see. Let's find out the productivity of some of these people. Andy has made 4 sales, and let's build a total now that we're working with this. in order to build a total, I'm going to put my cursor here and do Shift Control T. I'm not going to put my cursor anywhere else in the table. Shift Control T, and it says, oh, I see what you wanted. You wanted 438. Well, I didn't, but I didn't know what I wanted, and that's fine. So that's the total of all of Andy Bernard's sales from the Central Division. I wonder if he's in other divisions. I'm going to look at all the divisions. Central plus North. I can't get it here. I'm going to clear that filter and start over. Central plus North plus... not a very good manipulator. Oh, it's because I'll clear this one first and then look at all of them, and then I'll clear that one. We'll start over. When all else fails, start over. And so I'm looking for Andy. Where is Andy? And he is, as it turns out, only in the Central, and that was all he did. Well, what about Dwight? He is in just the Central, and that's what he did, almost $2,000. How about Aaron? Aaron is in 2 different regions, North and Central, and she made close to $2,000. Holly is only in the South Division and nowhere else. Take a look here. When I went to Holly, the 2 divisions that she was not in are grayed out. So there's no reason to look at Central and North for Holly. But what if I go to another one there? There's Central, and the other 2 are grayed out for Jan Levinson. Let's look at Toby down here. Toby is only in the North Division, and he looks rather anemic. He has not been a very high-selling dude. So we can figure out some of these other ways of inspecting our data. I'm going to clear all that now, and let's take a look at totals here. The total that I've asked for is greater, I put a total line in there, is greater than the width that I can deal with. So I'm going to come up here and widen that a little bit. Or a secret is, let me try this. You can come out here like that, and then you can double click when you get that arrow that goes both ways and a vertical bar. Double click on that, and it makes it only as wide as necessary, no wider. And so some of these, looks like this one is able to be shortened. I could do that if I wanted to, or I could pull it back out as long as I grab it right. So that may help. This one here, the number of units, I can double click and you can see it went out wider because of the word items up in the top of the, or units is what it was. It used to fit, but now that we've added the format, the filtering arrows, it didn't fit anymore. Well, let's try one more. Let's go out and get another one, but instead of inserting there or inserting in the table design, we can, in table design, we can go to insert slicer there, and that'll be an easy way to do it as well. Let's look at items. What kind of items are we dealing with here? And we hit OK, and we've got only 5 different kinds of items that we sell, and 2 of them are pins and pin sets. Looks kind of suspicious, like maybe they could all be consolidated, but anyway. So let's look at pin sets. I'm going to click on pin sets, and the only pin sets we're sold can be filtered to a spreadsheet that we can look at. We're not looking at anything else. What about paper? Let's look at that. We're not looking at anything but paper, and that is very, very powerful now. And we can see that out of all of that time period, we sold $2,000 worth of paper. How about desks? We sold $1,700 worth of desks and $9,000 worth of binders. That's a lot of binders, but there's one for $20. There's $1,000 worth of binders right there, $1,300. So we could come down here and look at that little filtering there, filtering arrow, and let's do that. Let's not do the average or anything. Let's do the maximum. What was the maximum binders sold? And it's Pam Beasley. She sold $1,800 worth of binders herself. And so we can go back to the sum, or we could go to more functions. Let's look at more functions. We could go to sums and averages and just click on this is only the most recently used. Let's look at all functions. And there is the absolute value and all sorts of mathematic values that we could put. So the point is it can do any function that you care to put in there by clicking on that. Let's do the click on this one and do the average. Average sales that were listed here is $11. I'm sorry, that's not the average sales, that's the average unit price. And the average unit price is $11. So I don't sell things that are really, really a lot. $19 looks like the highest, and I could ask for that. What's the maximum that I sell? And it's $19. What's the minimum item that I sell? It's $1.99, and you can see I'm looking at just binders. So now let's clear the binders and go down here and see the minimum thing that I sell is $1.29, and I don't see what it is. There it is right there. It's paper, and there's other paper. So I'm selling groups of paper, probably little packets of paper, that sort of thing. But from this company that I knew nothing about, the Acme Office Supply Company, I'm able to extract tons of data that is very helpful. And we'll do that some more when we get into pivot tables. And pivot tables carry this to the next step. And the next step is so much more powerful. You can manipulate without just a standard spreadsheet. Well, thank you for being with me today, and we will discuss more in a future time. I appreciate your being here with me. Please come to my YouTube channel @Ray Hines. Thank you so much.